welcome back to nap time. So excited to have you guys here. I thought today, I got my PJs on, I got my pigtails in. I thought today we could have a little slumber talk about sitcoms. Yeah, that's the theme for the day is sitcoms, specifically the popular controversies from a lot of popular different sitcoms. We're going to be going through them, okay? But first, let's talk. Let's talk about the weekend. I love to let you guys know what we did. Um, well, I started a new job, like I told you guys I was, and it's absolutely amazing. I actually love everyone that I've worked with so far, and they're all so sweet and ethical. Like I don't know, it's kind of like a dream job in a way. Like it checks off a lot of boxes that I didn't think it was going to check off. The shoes that I've been wearing, I have really messed up feet, so I'm not really supposed to stand on my feet for long periods of time, but I haven't had like a doctor sign off on that anytime recently enough that like I could qualify for any sort of thing or something, and I needed work. So I have these shoes. They're called Hoka's. You guys might know what they are. Again, this isn't sponsored. This isn't sponsored. This is just me, from me to you talking. Every fucking time, bro. So I have had these shoes for a few years, so I actually probably need to get new ones, but I also haven't worn them a lot because they're running shoes. And they're from Hoka, and they're like walking on clouds. It's really great, and they're also like tight around my foot, which I need because I need that like stability and structure holding me in while I walk, so that my feet don't hurt. So thankfully, my feet have not been hurting like they typically do if I stand up for, a couple of hours. And I worked like an 8-hour shift standing the whole time. Feet just had like a normal amount of pain at the end of it and nothing residual the next day. So that was great. If you have feet issues, look at a Hoka. My sister, my oldest sister, she also like was struggling with finding a good shoe, and I got her some of the Hokas that are good for like plantar fasciitis. And as far as I know, she wears them like everywhere and absolutely loves them, and her feet haven't hurt since. And she walks and bikes a lot, and she absolutely loves it. So if you have bad feet, or your feet hurt a lot, or you just need good shoes, I would highly recommend Hoka's because they've been working for me. So this weekend I had like a little work meeting, and after the little work meeting, it was in town that's like an hour away, and so boyfriend came with me, and then we just like hung out in town for the day. And there's this new cute little store. It's like Brick Life and Minifigs or something like that. And so we went to the store and just looked around, looked at all the Lego things that they have. They have a lot of Legos that aren't made anymore. A lot of just random pieces that are around, a lot of little baggies and everything. It was so cool to see all of them. A lot of little, the figurines that are rare or limited edition. Those are there. They've got them in droves, which is super cool. And they have a little bucket where you can make your own person. So we made each other as little Lego figures, which was super cute. And that was really fun. That was really fun. And we have all of our Legos displayed. You can't see it, but back there. So that was quite exciting. We also have a new board game that we played. I don't know how we keep finding new board games to play every fucking week, but it's pretty exciting. So this one was a Mario Party themed life, which is so funny because we saw it and we'd never seen it before. And I'm throwing him a Mario Party themed birthday in a couple of weeks. And I was like, now Mario Party's like everywhere that I look, I'm seeing Mario Party everywhere. And that's so funny. I mean, it's always been a popular thing, but once you like learn about something or start talking about something, it starts like showing up everywhere. Like you realize it's showing up everywhere. So that was really fun to play, you know that it has like little mini games and stuff that you're doing, so it's different from the regular life board setup, and it's not just like going to college or getting a job. You're going and you're trying to defeat Bowser in his castle, but you need a certain amount of stars before you can even enter the castle. So very fun, would recommend. It's also a quick game, so if you're looking to play a board game but you want it to be like kind of quick, that one was pretty quick. I think we were done within like 30 minutes. Very fun. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but the background is different. I rearranged my whole apartment yesterday. I don't know. I was talking to my boy Scoob, who is hilarious, and I love him. And I was just like talking to him about feeling like a little funky, you know, just feeling like I'm in a funk lately. And he was like, hey, you have kind of been living there for a couple of years. Me as a person, I'm not used to staying in one place this long. Typically, like I've moved a lot throughout my whole life growing up. So, you know, just like being in one place, nothing changing around me can get me feeling a little stuck. And he was like, why don't you try rearranging at minimum like your bedroom? Changing the lighting, like paint the walls if you can, or get like RGB lights, you know, maybe changing like the sheets that you have, the comforter that you have, like stuff like that. I was like, that's actually a great idea, because I have had all of this stuff and in the same position for like 2 years now. So I rearranged my whole bedroom. Once I get paid, I'm going to get new sheets, because right now they're pink satin sheets, and I have this big white queen size comforter that me and a boyfriend fight over every single night, because I love to wrap myself as if I'm in a cocoon. And so I wrap like tightly, it's under me, it's tucked into like here, because I don't like to feel myself breathing on myself. I hate the feeling of air hitting me. Fans, like ceiling fans, box fans, vents that have like AC. If you breathe, it's why I don't like cuddling a lot unless I'm like fully covered, because I don't like to feel air hitting me. Anyways, so I'm like fully tucked in, which leaves him very little blanket. So I'm gonna get a king size comforter so that maybe we don't have to deal with that as much. And then I just went through and I was rearranging, and I was like, let's rearrange the fucking living room too. Why not? We've talked about it a couple times. My pin just went flying. We talked about it a couple times. Like, let's actually do it. So we arranged the living room. It kind of just all shifted, and I'm also getting super into like diagonally placing things, so you can't tell, but the couch isn't lined up with a wall at all. It's completely diagonal in the middle of the living room. I kind of fuck with it. We have less space in the living room now because of the way that we laid everything out. You know, it's not all pushed back against the walls, but honestly, I really like it. It feels more open. And I'm close to the TV, so I don't have to wear my glasses to see what's on the screen. And that's fucking phenomenal. Also, when we were playing Stardew, I have 2 couches. One's been in my family for decades, generations even. And so what we would do, because this couch reclines, so we like to keep it kind of farther away from everything so it has the space to like go out. So what we would do is we'd get the old couch and we'd rotate it in and then move it up really close to the TV so that we could see when we were playing Stardew, because there's a lot of little things. And then with the split screen, you know, it's small, so maybe I should just get a really big TV. But I'm emotionally attached to mine, and we'll probably never get rid of it. I've had it for like 8 years now. It was brand new when I bought it, and it's still brand new in my heart. The remote doesn't really work super well. I have to click a button like 20 times to get it to actually click, but picture's great, and it does what I want it to, and it has all my preferences saved, all my logins saved, and I will not get rid of it. It's part of the family. Unfortunately. Yeah, so that was the weekend. It was very, very fun. I'm actually filming this on a Wednesday. I know, I usually film these on Mondays, but I'm filming it on a Wednesday because I had to get some stuff together and do some things while boyfriend was out of the house, since his birthday's coming up soon. So I was focusing on getting that stuff done, just make sure that it was done in case something happens and I don't have time between now and his birthday, which is April 5th. So start sending in the happy birthdays. Haven't heard back from any of the companies that I sent mail to for my birthday, but people did say that it, can take like at least a month to hear back from anyone. So, hasn't even been a month. It would have been a month if they went out when I tried to get them to go out, but then since they got sent back to me and I didn't see that until after I came back, it hasn't been a month yet. It'll be a month after his birthday. Anyways, let's get started. I'm thinking about getting, I saw a laser pointer on Chewy. Love that website. On Chewy, and I can like stick it on like a corner or something or on a wall, and it'll just like throw out a laser and it'll play with her for like 15 minutes independently. And I think it said that I could set it up on a schedule so it does that without me having to do anything. And it does it in like an insect pattern. So I'm also hoping to get her that soon, but alas, I'm not made of money. Alright, today we're going to be talking about our favorite sitcoms and their biggest controversies. I don't know if I would say biggest. To me, they're the biggest. They're the most well-known controversies. Now, I did ask some people on like a Reddit thread about some of theirs, but they all listed shows that I haven't seen, and I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about a show that I haven't seen because I feel like I don't understand the full like nuance and context of a situation if I haven't seen the show that goes around it. So we're only going to be talking about shows that I know. Alright, we're going to start off with, to me, probably the most well-known sitcom ever, and what will always be my favorite sitcom of all time, Friends. Now, the thing about Friends and having it be like your favorite sitcom is that so many people love to be haters about everything. There's just like a very large part of the population, I feel like we used to call them hipsters, maybe the reverse hipsters these days, I don't know. And their whole shtick is hating on things solely because everyone else loves them. Their whole thing. You talk to them and they're like, I just don't understand what the big deal is. I just don't get the hype. Like, it's overhyped. Like, I don't get it. Okay, well, that's fine. Like, it doesn't have to be your taste. But it also is popular for a reason. My middle sister, told me that in, I believe, high school. Yeah, because she was driving us to school. She was a senior when I was a freshman, because we're so cute. And at the time, I didn't like One Direction. I actually never became a One Direction fan. Was never really into boy bands unless it's like NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. Or the Beastie Boys. Anyways. And so I was talking about it, and I don't remember why I said I didn't like it. But I think it was something along the vein of like what I just said. Like, I just don't understand the hype around it. I'm just like not super big into it. And maybe I was sounding a little bit like a hater. My middle sister's pretty good at clocking me on being a hater. And she said, well, it's popular for a reason, so maybe you should shut the fuck up. I said, okay. And that stuck with me legitimately for the last, God, I would have been like 13, so 13 years. I'm 26? Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, life changing. I was definitely like kind of an annoying pick-me bitch back in the day, back in like high school, before my brain fully developed and I didn't really know what was going on. We've all had flaws. I've learned, I've grown. A lot of the advice that I give and the opinions that I have are formed from life experiences, just like most people. I only give advice if I have an informed opinion on it, okay? And if I don't have an informed opinion, but you're asking me for my opinion, I will give you my best guess of an opinion, but I will also let you know I am not a professional in this situation. But this is how I see it. Okay. Anyways, Friends is one of those where people hate on it to hate on it. They hate on it because it's got a laugh track, which only sometimes, because also sometimes it was filmed in front of, a live studio audience or whatever. they hate on it for a lot of reasons. My dad hates it because everyone slept with everyone. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I'm pretty sure Rachel kissed everyone in that group. I feel like there was someone else. Like, I feel like maybe Chandler has too. I know Joey's kissed Chandler. Chandler obviously kissed all the girls when he started dating Monica. I can't remember if he and Ross ever kissed, though. But yeah, whatever. I love that show. It has a lot of nostalgia for me. I grew up watching it. I have the whole box set sitting right there. It's amazing. And I love it. But so we're going to talk about the controversies around Friends. Starting with, obviously, girl, we got to start with the number one. We were on a break. I have seen every possible argument around we were on a break. First of all, on a very technical standpoint, yeah, they were on a break. But since in a relationship, for the most part, it's not just about logistics and technicalities, but rather about common sense, human decency, morals, and respecting each other and your emotions, it was cheating. Okay? Because also a break is not broken up. Now, I've talked about this in the past, how boundaries are kind of like a more new thing for people to have, and communication hasn't always been super great, especially not in relationships. This was obviously the case in their relationship, because it was just like a heated, like, we need a break, like, let's take a break from us, and then he just stormed out. Whereas maybe in a better, more calm, healthy state of mind, they should have sat down and talked about the boundaries around how that break needs to look between the two people. Like, okay, so this is a break, here's what we can do, here's what we can't do. And then in that, they could have laid out, don't fuck the copier chick that you've been making comments about for the last couple seasons. Let's not do that. Okay? Now, I'm of the mindset that if you are monogamous and in a monogamous relationship and you love the person that you're in a relationship with, you would not, under any circumstances, want to sleep with someone else. You wouldn't want to touch someone else that soon after. It was the same day, bro. The same day. Like, hours later, he fucked another chick. He didn't even wait. He could have just, like, not done literally anything else but that. Also, the copier chick was really gross and creepy and pushy and definitely took advantage of him in a very, like, sad state. And, he was, like, drinking a little bit. So I don't love that. But what I'm saying is, and then people are like, oh, but she had Mark over, so he didn't know. She was not fucking Mark. She did not ask Mark to come over. He heard that she was sad, also heard that her and Ross were on a break and he wanted to date her. And he came over. She said, no, don't. And he said, too late, I'm coming over, and, brought food and everything. Which is sweet, and that's what a good friend should do. Did he have other intentions? Yeah, obviously he did, and that sucks. But for Rachel, who just was hoping that she just had a guy friend that didn't want to fuck her, because that's all a lot of women do hope, is that, oh, this is just a genuine guy friend, and he doesn't want to sleep with me. She didn't know that. She didn't think that, and then after a little bit, she's like, you should go. You should go now. And the only reason, in case someone brings it up and they're like, oh, well, when Ross talked to her about it, she got, like, really defensive and quiet and was like, no one's here. It wasn't because she thought she was doing something wrong, because she wasn't. She was getting comfort and support from a friend. It's because she knew how he felt about Mark. That's it. That's solely it. She knew how he felt about Mark, and was like, fuck. Like, she realized in that moment, oh, he's not gonna like this. But she didn't have any friends there at the time. You know, she didn't have anyone. He had Chandler and Joey, who took him out to the parties because they were trying to have a three-way with the copier girl. She was all alone at home until Monica came back. So that's my thing. Yeah, they were technically on a break, but yes, he was also cheating on her because emotionally they were still in a relationship. They were still together. They were just taking a little step back. And even if you want to deem it not cheating because of the break, it's still fucked up to do to someone to go sleep with someone else within hours, within 12 hours of a relationship ending, especially if that's a relationship that you've been trying to get in for like a decade. That's crazy work right there. Ross is the worst character of all time. And he built up this idea of Rachel for so long in his little teenage brain and was just kind of like obsessed with her that he didn't really see her as a real person. And so when she started having interest in having a job that she actually cared about and was being a real person and not someone for him to look down on intellectually or, you know, feel superior to career-wise, he got upset. When she started being an actual multi-dimensional person, he was like, well, what are you doing? Like, you need to be at my beck and call, available for me 24/7. When you start any new job, it's gonna be like hectic, you know? Like, you're trying to get your new schedule, it's gonna be busy, and what she was doing was like a really busy job. And he had to just kind of like accept that if he wanted to stay with her. She shouldn't have quit her job or sacrificed it so that she could be with him. This is now just a discussion of, are you able to be with someone who has a hectic schedule? Or are you going to still require the same amount of time that they were able to give you when they were just a fucking waitress at a coffee shop that you frequented daily? And if you can't accommodate her career change to her dream fucking job and be supportive of her in that, then you shouldn't be together. Because your requirements are different than what she's able to provide. And it's not her fault that you're requiring that. It's not your fault that you're requiring that either. But you shouldn't make her feel bad because she's not just doing whatever you want all the time. Okay? Okay. Rachel should have gone to Paris at the end of the show. Don't get me wrong. I cry when he's sitting there screaming at the voicemail and he's like, get off that plane, get off that plane. And then it ends and he's like, ah, ah, ah. And then she goes, I got off the plane. Absolutely fucking adorable moment. And I love that shit so much. And I eat that shit up, okay? Because it is a sitcom. And you want your characters to get together. Yeah, I get that. But she should have gone to Paris. You know? Like, maybe she got off the plane. In my head, she got off the plane. They got together. And then she went to Paris after. Still got her job. Still did her job. Just showed up a little bit later. And was now doing a long distance thing with Ross. Back and forth. But in actuality, Ross wouldn't let her do that. We know Ross wouldn't let her do that. He wouldn't do a long distance thing. He's absolutely too insecure. In Ross's defense, he was cheated on by Carol, his first wife, and not only was he cheated on, but then they acted like he was the villain for just like wanting to be a part of his kids' lives and not wanting the mistress that broke up his fucking marriage to literally be pushing him out. And everyone was like, oh, he doesn't like Susan. Like, it's this big joke. And like, I kind of get the joke and everything, but also in a very real way, if you're thinking about this actually, if you were cheated on and it ended your marriage, and then you found out that your partner was pregnant with, your ex-partner was pregnant with your child, your first child, and you're excited, and then you have to see constantly for the rest of you and your child's lives the person that ruined your marriage, like broke up your marriage, I would crash out a little too. I'm not gonna lie. That would fucking suck. That's awful. And I get that their marriage probably would have, not probably, it definitely would have ended anyways because Carol was a lesbian. But, you know, she didn't have to discover that she was a lesbian through cheating on Ross. She could have maybe realized that she was having those feelings, discussed those feelings with him, and either A, explored them with him, you know, having knowledge about it and having like respectful boundaries set, explored those feelings, or B, left him to explore those feelings because maybe he didn't want her to go fucking around with other people while they were married, which is completely valid and real. That way she could discover who she is and not be held back, but also not be destroying the vows that she had made, which is, you know, I'm never gonna cheat on you. Hello. But even still, getting cheated on by one person does not give you the space to then make it everyone else's problem forever. And let's also remember, he cheated on Julie with Rachel. With Rachel. And then cheated on Rachel. And then cheated on Bonnie with Rachel. And then emotionally cheated on Emily with Rachel. I'm trying to think of any other major. And then, let's see, he was with Mona. Kind of kept forgetting that Mona existed because Rachel was pregnant with this child. So, like, let's just... He's the worst. He's hypocritical. He's loud. He's annoying. Blech. Ross sucks. Very quickly, in the argument of Richard versus Chandler, I do think Richard was a good boyfriend. I do think the age gap was fucking disgusting, and he couldn't give her what she wanted long-term in a relationship. Chandler and Monica are soulmates, and I will stand 10 toes behind that for the rest of my fucking life. Chandler was the hottest man on that show for the entirety of that fucking show. Let me tell you, tell me. Okay, Matthew Perry, I miss him so much. I actually haven't been able to rewatch Friends since that happened because every time I've tried, I start absolutely just sobbing. Chandler's the perfect man. Through and through. Those are my Friends ones. Okay, How I Met Your Mother. We're gonna be quick about this. The whole last season fucking sucked and was unnecessary. It sucked and it was unnecessary. This isn't even a controversial, like, take on this. The fact that they killed off the mother, the fact that they had a whole show dedicated around How I Met Your Mother to only have her in it for like 2 episodes and then kill her off so he could go fuck Robin, who should be with Barney. Barney and Robin are the definition of match each other's freak. When I tell you they are so perfect for each other, Robin was not a perfect person, and neither was Barney, and they grew individually and they grew together. They loved each other, and it was so pure. He didn't love this idea of her. He didn't love her despite her flaws. Hello? Do you have input on this? Here's your mic, so you can do it. We have a cat. She has joined. No, you can't run. Like, you know, Ted loved this idea of Robin because she's beautiful and she's smart and she's so strong and mysterious and sexy, but then, like, in actuality, she's a different person, you know? Like, she's more complex than that, and she's scared of commitment, and she doesn't want kids, and so they, the writers, found a way for him to still have kids while she didn't have to have kids, but they could still be together. And that's just gross. It's gross to bring in a whole character to basically just use her as a baby machine and then kill her off. I also will never, ever, ever stand behind killing a woman off to further a man's plot. Nothing pisses me the fuck off more. Are you kidding me? Like, just having a character to be the dead mom, the dead wife, the reason for his vengeance, like, the reason that he got stronger and became a leader, doesn't want to be a leader, whatever the fuck it is. Padme and Anakin are a really great example of this. In my heart, they're living happily ever after right now. They're still twirling around in the grass together. I hate that narrative so much. It's the laziest fucking writing that I could ever see, is killing off a woman to further a man's plot. Fucking disgusting. I hate it every time. Anyways, I have only seen How I Met Your Mother fully all the way through one time, because that end pisses me off so fucking much. I genuinely cannot stand to watch it. And that sucks because the show as a whole is like really great, really funny. It has a lot of really great moments. I love all the little Easter eggs in the back with the little things that you can see. The episode where it's counting down to Marshall's father's death is so beautiful. I want to cry just thinking about it. It's gorgeous. I cannot do it. Also, Marshall starts off being like the sweetest, most loving man in the entire universe, and then becomes a monster after him and Lily get married. He's like an awful fucking husband. Truly. I do not like him as a husband. He starts throwing shit back in her face like, well, you went to San Francisco. Yeah, because she wanted to paint. She was trying to discover herself and be herself, and she didn't want you to have to sacrifice your career, but she shouldn't have had to sacrifice her career either. So she went to go do that while she still could. Before they got married, before they had kids, before she was tied down and had to stay there because of what you were trying to do, she went to go do that and not have that regret for the rest of her life. And then at the end, they're supposed to be going to Paris for her. He gets, his job offer to be a judge, and that's probably never gonna happen for like a really long time. And then he just accepts the job and forces them to stay there, and she doesn't get to go to Paris. And she's like, you did that behind my back. And he's like, well, you got to go to San Francisco. Bitch, you weren't married with children then. You were together, you were in love, but you weren't married with children then. It's not like she went and she fucked a bunch of guys while she was gone. She went and she painted and got shit on for it. And then Barney went and got her back because, her and Marshall should be together. And I genuinely hate that. And the way his mom treats her, the way he lets his mom treat her, I don't like it. And it kind of forces the kids thing on her a little bit. Not like having them, but like the amount. Man just did a pretty sick flip in the middle of the floor. Don't know why, but it was pretty cool. Anyways, that's my stance on that. Big Bang Theory, very similar to Lily and Marshall. Leonard ended up being just the fucking worst. I'm a primo example of when you give the quote-unquote ugly guy a chance, and then he just becomes the fucking worst because it inflates his ego so much of like, oh, well, if I can get this fucking dime piece, who else can I get? What else can I do? Like, they start thinking a little bit too much about themselves and their standing in the world. We gotta stop doing fucking charity work when it comes to men, ladies. Fucking tired of it. I can't tell you the amount of fucking ugly ass men that I've dated because they have great personalities. Okay. And they're still gonna cheat on you, so how great was that personality, right? So I'd rather, if I'm gonna be with a man and he's gonna be an asshole to me, I'd rather him be fucking sexy about it, Like, I don't want to have to be like, okay, first, before I show you this picture, let me just warn you. I don't want to have to do that about a man ever again. And I don't have to. Actually, my man's awful at taking pictures. He gets really awkward. But he's so sexy that it doesn't even matter. It's so unfortunate. And then he, cheats on Penny, and then they stay together, and then she vehemently, through the whole show, does not want children. Ever. And they end the show with her getting pregnant, and she's happy about it, and the only call out that we see to that is Sheldon, and they try to paint him as a fucking villain for this, but also Sheldon's the fucking best character in that whole show. Sheldon's like, I'm sorry, Penny's like my best friend, and she has told me the whole time that I've known her that she does not want kids. So why would I congratulate her when she gets pregnant when I know from my whole history with her that this is not what she wanted? It's not what she wanted. But I don't know, they gave it to her because Leonard wanted it, or because they couldn't stand to have a fucking straight couple and not have children together. I don't know, it's fucking crazy. Whether you want children or not, either way is completely fine. Also, if you do end up changing your mind, that's also completely fine, because we're people and we grow and we change. If you want kids one day and then wake up one day and you're like, actually, I don't want kids, that's fine. You're allowed to make that decision, and, the vice versa situation. Also, don't just be okay with having kids, because your partner wants you to, and just be like, well, I mean, I guess, if he really wants it, I guess we can have kids, whatever, I don't really care. Come on. That's quite the commitment. It's not like getting a pet goldfish or something, which is also a commitment if you actually take care of them properly. You're creating life, you're wrecking your body and your hormones. You are now permanently tied to this man and to this child for the rest of your life that you are going to have, and it's gonna be fucking difficult. And if you go into it with the mindset of, whatever, I don't really care, you're probably not gonna show up as a great mother or partner or self person. You're not gonna show up for yourself the way that you should, because you're already not showing up for yourself, because you're doing something that you don't want to do just because the other person wants to be happy. And you want to do something to make them happy, but they're not going to be happy if you end up, being a piece of shit mother or getting postpartum depression and then probably never treating it because you obviously aren't taking care of yourself. Into that rant. Anyways, Sheldon's the best. Penny should not have ended up with Leonard, and she definitely should not have ended up pregnant. If Leonard had stayed, growing and changing is fine, but if he had stayed the same sweet, loving, loyal boyfriend that he was in the very beginning when he was trying to woo her, instead of the cocky, arrogant, cheating fuckhead that he turned into, then they could have stayed together, and I wouldn't have been mad about it. But he didn't and they did, so I'm mad. Modern Family, I'm gonna be real quick on this. Phil, awful fucking husband, great father, awful fucking husband, absolutely terrible. He's awful to Claire. Truly, I mean, he does some nice things. No one's 100% bad, and I try to tell people that a lot when they're in an abusive relationship or something. And they're like, oh, but he did this nice thing for me one time. And I'm like, yeah, babes, that's great. No one's 100% evil all the fucking time. That's just it's not a thing. That's not how anything works. It's so funny that you can't see her at all. Oh, you can kind of see her a little bit. Hello, little squirrel. Would you like to sleep here? This is a little squirrel nest for you to climb into. Oh, look at that. It's like a little cave for the little bear to cave into. She likes caves. Sorry. Yeah. It's not really a cave because it's actually on the couch, but she's still trying. Yeah, no, he's an awful husband. He's always throwing her under the bus. He doesn't stand behind her when it comes to the children. So it's not a united front. She always looks like the villain. He, sides with other people when they're being mean to her. He stands up for her sometimes. Like in the iconic line when he's like, oh, and if you ever talk bad about my wife again, I'll kill you. That sounded like a joke. I will actually kill you. Love him for that moment. Again, no one's 100% evil or bad. But for most of the time, he's checking out her stepmom all the time. Openly gawks at her, knowing how insecure it makes her. He's always, so sweet and so flirty with hot, gorgeous women all the time. Does things that she asks him to do, but does them for other women and not for her. That's so shitty. That's so shitty. I hate that. Cam is just, not a good person. I don't like him as a person. He makes everything about himself. Literally all the time, and if it's not about him, he throws a fit about it, like a child at a birthday party who doesn't get to blow out the candles. And it's awful to watch, truly. I also have a lot of opinions about who the kids should have ended up with. Let me check notes. None of the people that they ended up with were good for them. Okay, thank you. Continue. Gilmore Girls. Lane and Zach suck. Hate that couple so fucking much. I hate that the writers didn't leave Lane any space for a life. She says this too in the show. She's like, I got a life and it was so quickly gone because she got pregnant the first time she had sex. The first time. She didn't get to experience anything of adulthood. They stopped doing the band. She just became a mom. She ended up with Zach, who's a terrible fucking person. He's so annoying and immature. I wish you could see her right now. I could probably lower it so you could. Hold on. Look at her. She's so pretty. Okay. Yeah, so I don't like them. I don't like them together. And like Dave Rogowski, we love him. We all know him. He's also played by Adam Brody, so maybe that shapes the way that we see him a little bit. Also, maybe we didn't know him long enough to see if he was shitty or not, but I do love Dave Rogowski, and I wish that she, even if she didn't end up with him, ended up with someone like him, and also ended up leaving Stars Hollow, because she didn't like it there. She didn't want to stay there. She wanted more from her life. She didn't get to travel. She didn't get to be a person at all. I hate that. I hate that whole storyline. Rory's an awful friend to her. Disgusting. All of Rory's boyfriends sucks. Rory, I don't know why I can't say that name right now. They all suck in their own way. Dean starts off a fucking great boyfriend, and then he gets like a little shitty. In his defense, she did cheat on him, and, you know, openly is flirting with another guy and developing feelings for him, and she starts distancing herself from him and treating him bad, and so he gets insecure. Obviously, he's gonna get insecure. He's a teenager. He's not a fucking relationship expert. He's not the world's most mature person in the whole world. He's not just gonna sit back and watch his girlfriend run off with some other guy and be totally fucking chill about it. He becomes shitty to me when he marries Lindsay, clearly still in love with Rory, and then cheats on Lindsay and treats her like shit. Like, she's trying so hard to be a good housewife. She does also make him work multiple jobs to support her lifestyle, which sucks, but that's something that they should have talked about before they got married, and something that he would have agreed to if that conversation happened. That episode where she's like baking the food for him or whatever, and it comes out correctly, and she's so excited about it. She starts like clapping and cheering, and he's just like kind of annoyed at her. It hurts me. It hurts because she's trying so hard to make her very young wedding work, her young marriage work, and he's just already checked out because Rory started giving him attention again. That's so shitty. That's when he starts getting shitty for me. So it's not even when he's Rory's boyfriend. And then their little relationship that they have after that obviously wasn't going to work out. Whatever. And then we see him, and he's grown and he's learned as an adult in a year in the life. Slay Queen. Jess sucks. Through and through. The actor that plays the character, super fucking hot. Like, I'll give you that. We love a man that reads. He's witty, he's smart, he's funny, he's sarcastic. Great. He's also rude to her mother, terrorizes his uncle who's just trying to help him out. You know, like, terrorizes the fucking town. Though we do love the pranks that he pulled on Taylor Dosey. Tries at a party, tries to force her into sex even though she's not ready for it. Is rude to her grandmother, shows up late, and with a black eye. The black eye thing is funny. Like, he's not a good boyfriend. He doesn't take her out on dates. He doesn't show up for her. He doesn't call. Like, he gets her and then kind of forgets about her. He puts in, and this is so typical of a lot of men, which is very unfortunate, a lot of emotionally immature men. He puts all the work in to get her, to steal her from another man, openly is trying to get her to cheat on her boyfriend or, leave her boyfriend for him, which is already a shitty thing to do, and then he finally gets her by, terrorizing them throughout town and just, like, absolutely pissing Dean off. And he just kind of bloops out of the whole thing. And then he grows and he learns, and that's great. But then, you know, they're kind of like quasi siblings because Luke and Lorelai are together. So that's them. Logan sucks, dude. Logan sucks. I cannot stand people that are like Logan stans. Of the three boyfriends, he might be the least shitty, kind of, depending on the way that you're looking at it, but he's still not a good boyfriend. At all. Like, if it wasn't for him, Rory wouldn't have turned into the type of person that would have stolen a boat and dropped out of Yale and got drunk in the middle of the day and was like, let me see how lazy I can fucking be. Now, part of that might have happened anyways because this girl is burnt out from working her whole fucking life to try to get into Harvard, which she didn't even go to. But he really promoted this like laissez-faire party mentality because he was a trust fund kid. And I do love when he calls her out and he's like, you ain't exactly paying the rent neither. Because she is kind of a trust fund kid, but she wasn't raised a trust fund kid, you know? She was raised up until like high school to be like a coupon clipping girly, fast food every fucking night. She wasn't raised doing all of that stuff until the Gilmores came back into her life in a major way, and then she started getting that and getting spoiled, turning into what they wanted Lorelai to be. We saw how that turned out. He's, you know, spoiled, he's entitled, he's rich, he has no care, doesn't care about the future, doesn't think things through, doesn't understand consequences, also cheated on Rory. Whether he thought it was cheating or not, communication still should have happened to ensure that it wasn't cheating, and he still cheated on Rory, just stopped talking to her altogether. They had a fight, stopped talking to her, and then came back and got with her, and then he was a little bit better as a boyfriend, I would say, after, but then he proposed to her. A proposal shouldn't be surprised that it's happening, because you should be at a point in your relationship, if you're thinking about proposing, it's something that you should also be talking to your partner about. The only surprise when a proposal is happening should be like the when, what the ring looks like, the where, the how, you know, like the actual proposal itself. But the idea of the proposal should not be a, what? What do you mean? You know, because you guys should be discussing this fully together. So the fact that they clearly hadn't discussed it yet, so when he proposed to Rory and how he proposed to Rory, because that was not in any way, shape, or form a proposal that Rory would have enjoyed, shows that he didn't know her at all. He was doing what he wanted, what he thought was the next step, and didn't take into consideration her or her feelings in the slightest. And he was like, yeah, like, I'm moving out to this place. I found this cute little house. I think you're gonna like the house. There's plenty of opportunities for you to get a job here. But girl was just graduating college. That's, like, her life is starting. You can't just spring this on her. Rude. Jackson basically assaulted Suki when he didn't get the fucking vasectomy and then continued to sleep with her without protection, knowing that she was under the assumption that he had a vasectomy and she wasn't going to get pregnant again, and then got her pregnant. Yeah, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. And the fact that no one reacted really at all to him doing that, like, they tried to calm Suki down and were like, Suki, like, you need to calm down. This is just the hormones from you being pregnant. The fuck it is. He lied to her about having a vasectomy and got her pregnant. That's so beyond fucked up. The way that I would be on site with that man if I ever fucking saw him. Beat the shit out of him. Are you kidding me? I know that there's like the argument of, well, she tried to like force him into the vasectomy. He didn't want that. That's chill. After he didn't get the vasectomy, because he didn't, so he had, you know, enough courage to not get the vasectomy. Hello, my little love. He didn't have the courage to tell his wife, hey, I didn't want that. You were trying to force me into it. I didn't want that. And also her point was, like, you're not going to get it for yourself because, like, you're not going to get it for yourself, and I'm tired of having kids. That should have been a conversation that they had. Absolutely. but then they didn't. She tried to force him into it. He didn't want it. Okay, that makes sense. Then you can have the conversation. But you can't have that conversation if you just tunnel forth, don't tell your wife that you didn't get the vasectomy, keep having unprotected sex with her, and get her pregnant again so you can have the amount of children that you wanted, which was 4 and 4, and he got it. Incredibly insensitive, because that's something that they were arguing about beforehand, because she didn't want that. She didn't want to be doing all that, and he got his way. Disgusting. Absolutely hated him after that point, and then ruining Thanksgiving by like deep frying everything. You're married to a cook. That's not something you ever do if you're married to a fucking cook. Okay? His family was shit. He didn't defend her, stand up for her at all. He was a coward. Jackson sucked. Also, Richard's an awful husband. Awful fucking husband. The yearly lunches with his ex-girlfriend would have sent me into a spiral that would have made Emily's look like a regular fucking weekday. I would have crashed out so hard they would have had to create a new fucking word for it. Because what do you mean? This whole time that we've been together, which is a long fucking time, basically her whole fucking life, she's been this man's wife. She's done everything for him, everything to support him, has put up with his mother, who consistently, publicly treats her like shit and talks down on her and trashes her, and he does nothing to stop that by the fucking way. Nothing to fucking stop that. He lets his mother treat her like shit and even laughs about some of the things that she says. And she's dealing with this for most of her fucking life, and then finds out that he has yearly lunches with his ex-girlfriend that he's been hiding for her for this whole time. Would beat his head in. I'm so fucking for real right now. Like, I get that he was her whole life, and so they wanted to get back together because she didn't want to be with anyone but him, and like, that's great, and I understand that. My God, there's just no way that I could have ever, me personally, excuse that. I don't see it as like cheating technically, but there is like an emotional affair happening there. It's also the breach of trust and the lying. I cannot stand a fucking liar. Cannot fucking stand it. I mean, maybe if you're saying it like to be funny or something, but like a legitimate liar, get that out of my fucking sight. That's diabolical. And then he kind of acted like she had no right to be angry over the fact that that news just got dropped on her. Not even by him. She found out because they ran into Penelon Lot, and Penelon knew something about Lorelai that she shouldn't have known about. Also, the fact that Emily even had to see her every fucking year at those games and play nice to her is fucking crazy. Crazy. Why y'all gotta keep your exes around, okay? I do not talk to my exes. Because they're exes for a fucking reason. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I did not want them in my life anymore. So they're gone. They're gone. My boyfriend does not have to worry about any one of those motherfuckers trying to contact me. Unless it's an emergency. In that case, only one of my exes has my number. Will he ever contact me? Absolutely fucking not. Will I ever contact him? Absolutely fucking not. Because we're exes. Everyone else is fucking blocked. Everyone else is blocked. Stop having your exes in your lives. And definitely stop making your new significant other be nice to them. I had an ex, and he was shitty and abusive in a lot of different ways. But one of my favorites was after like a year or so of him cheating on me with someone else and then spending a few months trying to decide between me or her. This was high school. Don't judge me too hard. He, chose me. Then I got to spend the entire summer that year, which would be my last summer at home, camping with her, hanging out with her, because she was a part of his friend group and started dating his best friend, and also started dyeing her hair and wearing clothes that looked a whole lot like mine. Started dating his best friend. And so I had to see her every fucking day, and he made me be nice to her every fucking day. And she sat there and literally shit on me every fucking chance that she could. Openly, loudly, laughed about it with everyone, about how she wanted to hit me and beat me, and how I was trashy, and my shoes weren't that good, and they had holes in them because I was poor. And yeah, just like openly bullied me for the entirety, really, of my senior year, and then the summer after, and I wasn't allowed to say a fucking thing back to her. His parents also were really fucking mean to me all the time because they were racist assholes, and I wasn't allowed to say anything to them either. And then his college roommate, the first one was actually super chill, and then he ended up transferring and going to a different school, which was sad because I loved that man. And the new one that he got ended up being an old bully of mine from, like, middle school. He was a guy that actively bullied me in middle school until I moved to the new town where I met the ex, and he ended up being the college roommate, and it was a nightmare because he just kind of picked up back where he left off. My ex didn't defend me not one fucking time from that. Not once. So never be with someone that's not gonna stand 10 toes fucking behind you and defend you. And if you're in a relationship, I always think this is a good rule of thumb. Maybe you're different. That's up to you. I think, me personally, that if you guys are disagreeing about something in public and they don't agree with you in public, disagree with you in private. Okay? In public, be like, that's my girl, that's what she said, I stand behind it. But then in private, you could be like, girl, what the fuck are you talking about? You know? You pull them aside and you have a little talk after the fact. So that way you're not fucking embarrassing them in front of all these people, and you're not having a united front. Now, this doesn't apply if your partner's saying some fucked up shit in front of a bunch of people or being an absolute fucking twat. Then maybe you can call them out in front of those people. Like, or listen to a Reddit story yesterday about this guy's new fiance said that she was glad his ex-wife died so that she could have him all to herself. And she said that in front of his kids, who he had with the ex-wife's sister and husband, and his mom. And then he just kind of like left. He was shocked, obviously, and he left her, don't worry. And he left. That would be the kind of situation where you call out your significant other in front of other people, okay? Because now you're defending them against them, okay? Different situations. Know what nuances. Okay. New girl, Jessica Day is annoying. She gets better kind of throughout the show, but she also gets worse. But that's just what writers like to do. They like to hyper intensify, like, the most cartoonish aspects of a character's personality in sitcoms. Like, Joey's pretty fucking smart. I think I've talked about this before. He's, like, really common sense, like, street smart in the beginning of Friends, and then they just fucking ruin him and make him be so fucking stupid by the end. He's learning about shapes and colors from a puppet. Come on, dude. They ruined Joey throughout the show by making him, like, so extra stupid all the time. That 70s show, Hyde and Jackie should have ended up together. I'm forever mad that new writers came in and didn't like them, and so they stuck her with fucking Fez, the creepy, rapey, fucking kind of pedophilic little man that was there. Disgusting. And then put her back together with Kelso, I think, in that 90s show or whatever it's called, which also ruins Donna's character. They ruined Donna's character in that show. They didn't let her go be a writer, do any of the things that she wanted to do. They literally did the exact opposite of what her character said she was in the beginning, which was a strong-willed, thinking, wanting to work feminist, and they just kind of shot all of that down and ruined it. Also, here's my beef with that 90s show. I haven't watched it. But I do know that he names his daughter Leia. And I saw a clip where Donna makes a comment about how she didn't know that that was named after Star Wars. I have multiple issues with this. One, yes, she fucking did, because she multiple times towards the later seasons is quoting Star Wars to him and gets dressed up as Leia for some sexy fucking roleplay with him. And she literally says, like, oh, I'm Princess Leia. Are you going to be, like, my stormtrooper or whatever? So she knows that. Two, here's my second issue. That boy has been sexually fantasizing about Leia since those movies came out, and he first saw them. They become, like, a big fucking kink for him, a big fetish, is Princess Leia and her buns. And then he named his daughter after her? That's disgusting. That's absolutely fucking gross. Naming your kid after, like, a character that you like, that's totally fine. That, you know, normal, whatever. Naming them after someone that you've actively had, like, sexual fantasies about, especially if you've acted on those sexual fantasies with the partner that you're with, and then you name your kid out, that's just gross. That's gross to me. I don't like that. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But if you are not subscribed to me, please subscribe to me. Make sure that you like and share this video. Leave me a little comment down below. Tell me your favorite sitcom controversy or how you feel about one of the ones that I listed off here today. Share this, please, with people so that it can get out there. And so maybe one day I'm saying, hey, this is sponsored and here's who it's sponsored by. That would be super cool. As always, I am so happy that you're here. Please take care of yourself, and thanks for joining Nap Time. Bye.